The gang is all back together. Not So Fast, brought to you by Amazon and by Audible.com. At Amazon, just go to notsofastpodcast.com. When it's time to go shopping, you look for the Amazon banner on our website, you click it, and then you go and buy some stuff. It's as simple as that. Fellers, woo! 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 As Ric Flair said, give it to me again.
Woo! Styling and profiling.
Boy, July 2016 is not going to disappoint. And we're only halfway through the month.
Well, if you're really into like fucking
It's a
gun
hot
attacks,
one.
it's a real good month.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think we're all getting out of 2016.
You don't think?
I think this is the year it all ends. I think all the precursors are in place.
Armageddon it.
Def Leppard style.
And we've got a lot to talk about today on Not So Fast. You can follow us on Twitter at Not So Fast Show. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Not So Fast Show. Corey was all over Twitter last night on Monday night as the RNC kicked off. And you knew it was going to be a shit show, but when the shit show actually arrives, sometimes you just shake your head in disbelief and go, damn, it's really happening.
Better than expected. When it's better than expected, that just makes it that much better.
Define better in this instance.
So I heard the lineup for the RNC last night. They're in Cleveland. And
So already not off to the best of starts.
no, I mean, I guess you start with the champions. But I saw I was just going through it, and I'm like, Antonio Sabato Jr.,
Oh, sure.
Scott Baio.
Ooh, Scott Baio. Charles in charge.
Charles in charge, baby. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
He's in charge of our wrongs and our rights.
Charles in charge. Of
This
me.
is I Love the 80s, part deux.
Part true.
I mean, who's next? Who's the next person they're going to trot out and
Cindy
speak?
Williams.
Dana White's supposed to speak
Cindy
tonight.
Lauper?
That'd
Mr.
be
T.
fine. She could do a song.
They can get Mr. T.
Yeah, Mr. T. Is George Papard still alive?
Bigger than Mr. T, fool.
George Papard is not still
Damn it!
alive. You knew
I
that.
love it when a plan
From
comes together.
Seinfeld. That's good stuff. No, but, and then, and everybody apparently thought how great the convention went. The great speeches and everything, and then our favorite Slovenian
Were there any
friend.
cosplayers at the con?
Well, yeah, there was one who gave a speech.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Any,
a couple.
Any what?
Cosplayers. Costume players? No, like any con has.
That was in Pittsburgh,
Oh, that was the Comic
the
Con?
furry convention.
Different con.
Different, yeah.
It's way over here. You ever heard of a Comic Con?
Yeah.
And they always had the people that dress up like characters and like they call them cosplayers.
Is that COSPLA?
yeah,
like
cosplay? Costume play?
That's what that means.
All right, back to RNC. And
Sorry, I didn't know.
No,
that's
in
what that
reality.
meant.
Back,
We're going to hear from a cosplay player
So-
in a minute. Yeah, too.
Dana White tonight.
You're excited about that, aren't you?
No, it's disappointing.
Wait a minute.
Why is Dana White disappointing?
I mean,
You're
it's-
serious.
It's shocking. This.
Wait a second.
This jerk off is a Republican?
Define
Exactly.
disappointing.
He was at the RNC.
Shocking.
He's their keynote speaker tonight, I believe.
Oh, are you shitting me?
Yeah, Tim Tebow Thursday night. But did you see the reports that
What
like
the fuck? Ted
Nick
Nugent on
Diaz.
Saturday.
Friday.
Tebow's saying he's not speaking.
The Nuge will be
He got back from a mission. And they're like, "Are you going to speak at the RNC?" And he's like, "No, like this is news to me." So we were talking about it earlier this morning. Apparently, Trump came out and claimed there was other like Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady were going to speak, and they both had to deny it also. So he's been throwing names out there. That,
Scott Baio was asked last week because he saw him in Trump Tower.
I'm just saying, like,
What was? Whoa.
Hey, Scott Baio.
oh, Celebrity Apprentice Part 7 or something had to have been.
The obvious. See, the jokes are even too obvious. Ralph Malph, Potsy weren't available.
Was Buddy not available?
I guess not.
Buddy Knoll?
No,
the guy
Charles in
from
charge is
man.
Buddy.
No,
Buddy.
what was his
Now, I
name?
like
Oh,
Buddy.
the little blonde
Yeah,
curly-headed
curly-haired
kid.
guy.
He was on Surreal Life one season too. He's a real weird.
Willie
guy.
Ames?
Yeah,
I bet
Willie
he got a
Ames.
bunch of ass.
Oh,
He's
they
a
all
weird
did.
guy,
Yeah.
man.
Scott Baio pulled more ass. Oh,
Wasn't Nicole
sick
Eggert
to
on
think
that show
about.
as well?
That's what I was going to ask who the
yeah.
girl was.
She also went on to Baywatch, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's playing her role in the new Baywatch movie?
this is a tangent I'm not sure I want to go down.
No, it's the girl from it's the girl that we were all talking about from
True Detective?
Yep.
Alexander Daddario.
doctor.
Yep.
Nicole Eggert, I don't think they're trying to replace her in that movie.
That's the character she's playing.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So highlight of the night for you, Corey, because you were all over this. You're like the political analyst of Not So Fast.
Highlight of the night.
Was it Duck Dynasty guy? Was it Bayo? Was it
Duck,
We Are the
whoa,
Champions?
Which Duck Dynasty?
Highlight
guy?
of the
Well,
night.
does it matter?
Yeah.
They're all the fucking same.
Did they get like the old one that hates like everybody that always says?
No, I
got
think
Willie.
he's a showstopper.
I was gonna
They're
say-
saving him. They did have a guy. He wasn't on stage, but they did have a guy, and I forget which news channel he was on. He basically just came out and was like, "What has any minorities ever done to advance civilization?"
Ouch.
Yeah, like the old man from Duck Dynasty would have got
mean,
up.
and they
he went-
say, and they mean it.
He went full white supremacy, and I'm sitting there thinking, algebra, our alphabet, all sorts of
Those are some weird
mathematical
claims there, though.
equations.
French fries.
How are they
Well,
minorities?
that's Western civilization.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah.
That old dude from Duck Dynasty would have been like, when they start playing We Are the Champions, I'm like, cut this, they're playing that fag's music. I mean, like, he would have had a huge issue with it because that
Let
guy
me tell you something.
is-
That
down,
guy's
Donald
never heard
Cerrone.
a good piece of music in his fucking
Like,
life.
That old man is
No.
crazy.
I know, Teal. Let me stop you. He's never heard a good piece of music. That's not
He
fucking
thinks
the
sold
band
millions of
Alabama.
That guy is so screwed up. He thinks Merle Haggard is gay.
Yeah.
Really?
Not man enough.
Not man enough. Buck Owens, Merle Haggard. Maybe he'd let some Hank Williams in there. Maybe.
Highlight of the night
Highlight of the night.
is Jack Dick walking out to a Queen
Awesome
song,
name.
which Brian May, who is the lead guitarist of Queen, one of the surviving members, already said he needs to stop playing that song. We don't want to have anything to do with it.
That's
So now he
shocking.
does it again. So I'm
they gonna sue him?
hoping I don't know that you can.
Oh, yeah. If it's not freedom of.
They can because the Clinton campaign found this out via Fleetwood Mac back in '92. Producer Brian has insight on this one.
The most they can do is force him to pay a fine for
Yes.
using the song,
which is
They
like a
cannot-
royalty fee.
But
like
they
the-
legally cannot tell him to actually stop using
Exactly.
his song or using the
America.
song as long as he is paying for it.
He's paying for it. Which Bill Clinton had to pay for, I believe. Don't Stop Believing.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
Don't
by
stop
Fleetwood
thinking
Mac.
about tomorrow.
Don't
by
stop
Fleetwood.
believing is
This
Journey.
Gotcha.
Well, I thought it was the
But-
P-Funk era.
But
Well,
as we were talking about Fleetwood Mac before in the other room, Clinton is actually the one who then got Fleetwood Mac back together, and they are still
Attaboy,
together
Bill.
for today.
Hillary?
No,
Slick Willie.
Billy did it.
Joking.
Not Hilly.
Billiam.
Let's see if she can do the
Billy,
same thing for
not
the
Billy.
original Van Halen.
Anyway, as a fan,
get Michael Anthony
Look
back.
at E's vote.
as a fan of that band, that just infuriates me and makes me just hate this guy.
You know what, though? It's the right party. The Republicans are very accepting of people like Freddie Mercury, the singer.
Very
so, I mean,
true.
it's-
Well known.
it's- You know, I think that I think it's very fitting.
very true.
I think it was, I don't know if it was Colbert or Kimmel. Someone said nothing says America in the RNC, the GOP convention, like a bisexual Englishman opening up for
Yeah.
your presidential nominee.
Yep.
I want to break free. Yeah.
Good tune.
Yeah.
It's a John
I mean,
Deacon pen song.
The only thing that would be
though.
better is Ricky Martin closing it out.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's coming out tonight to.
Heads would explode.
We're going to announce the wall, and here to announce the wall is Ricky Martin, strangely.
He's coming out. He's coming out to relax tonight.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
It'd be
over.
like the Chappelle Show skit when it's the black white supremacist.
Oh,
Clayton Bigsby.
what if Clayton
And he
Bigsby
pulls-
got up and gave a speech?
He pulled his head off, his hood off, and the dude's head just explodes. If Ricky Martin came out singing to close it out, you would see some old white men's heads explode. Just pop.
I'm between that and before that, the Benghazi mom.
Mom Ghazi.
It's hard. See, this is a tough one because I do feel.
Well,
for
good.
The
We're on a
lady.
podcast and we can say how we feel about
I
it.
do feel for the lady.
I do too.
Fuck, everybody
But-
does.
and everybody does, and this misses the point entirely. If you want to trot out someone and blame I mean, that was a hell of an accusation. I directly blame her for my son's death.
Yeah.
Really? What about the Libyans who,
Pull
you
the
know,
trigger.
and I don't even know that they were Libyan.
No, but what really gets
City
me is
Benghazis.
Donald Trump was so moved by her speech that he called into Fox News to
While
do
the
an
speech was
interview
going
while
on.
she's talking. Is this guy a fucking idiot?
Who called in while she was talking?
Donald Trump.
He was
To be
live on
fair,
Fox News while
he was
this
trying to
speech
order a
going on.
pizza.
He's like,
I mean,
Wrong number.
this guy could be our president. And see, for all that time, remember, I was like, no, this will never happen. This will never happen. And then it kind of started sinking in what happens.
Corey, it's happening. It's time to get your head
it's
wrapped
not
around
gonna.
it.
I still don't think it's gonna happen.
What he's going? What do you mean you don't think it's going to happen? He's going to be on a ballot in November.
No,
and people
I
are gonna-
know. I'm just saying. I don't think he's
So
gonna
wrap
win.
your head around that fact.
The bigger damage is done because now you're gonna have any asshole celebrity that has any type of star power
No, the bigger damage is not done.
run.
It could be done.
Oh, we can do far worse. We can do far
Yeah,
worse.
Kanye West is going to run for president in our lifetime.
Bring it on. That's
After this election, I have a theory that we're no longer going to tolerate freak shows in these elections.
I hope. Not.
Disagree.
I think society is going to get to a point after this election. And
you have a
enough
lot of
this.
faith in society. You
My
got to remember, The
that's fair.
Simpsons predicted Donald Trump would be president
They predicted a lot of
16
things.
years ago when they were
And the
dead
Cubs
on
to win the
money.
World Series in the same
in the same
thing.
year.
Yep. It was 2020 though. I
Boy,
believe.
that's something.
Oh, was
you'd
it?
wanna
I
know.
think
Okay.
so. No, but it was the same. Trump and and the Cubs win the World Series in the same the little
Cubs were
thing.
supposed
they
to
were
win
doing.
last year against the Gators, though.
The Gators had a good showing.
When you underestimate things.
Yes.
I overestimated Americans like having enough sense and
Hey,
decency.
fuck you,
and
buddy.
thoughts.
Why would you overestimate Americans? Look where we've grown up.
Exactly. I think people think this is like a TV show, and they're like, "Oh, it'll make good TV when he comes out and make a speech."
Hey.
It's not a TV show. If you think we've talked about how presidents don't have power, if this guy gets into office, you will find out how much power a president has.
Love it or leave it, buddy. Love it or leave
Thinking
it.
about leaving it. 'Cause this,
Well, he will.
Don't be
This
one of those
guy will
guys.
test
He'll
executive
be one
power.
of those guys that says, Trump wins, I'm moving to Canada.
I didn't
And
say
then-
that.
Well, I know, but you ever heard those people that say that?
Yeah, I
Whoever
fucking
wins, I'm
hate
moving
it.
to Canada. It's like, what the fuck?
What
Move to Canada.
What exactly is his foreign policy?
He'll hire
can't
someone to
spell foreign policy.
He'll,
I'm not
he'll
arguing
hire
that.
someone to take care of foreign policy.
Yeah, he's gonna hire the best people
team.
to put like his speech writers he's hired.
They did a fantastic job last night.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
He's already a fuck up. He's not good at it.
Is any part of that on purpose, just to drum it up more? Like
No.
That's
you don't
what
think so?
right
No.
wingers are saying. This is a conspiracy because he's a Democrat and he is throwing this son of a bitch.
If he heel turns,
Oh, that'd be funny.
it's the best thing of all time. If
I don't
there's
know.
a
That
heel
makes a
turn
joke of
coming
our whole
Thursday night,
democracy.
of course it does.
I don't think that's good.
Corey, you haven't figured out that this democracy is a joke anyway since Citizens United and all the other stuff?
Yeah. But
This is bought and paid for crap, man.
I think the Turks feel that way too right now.
I want to hear some of the speech because
Yeah,
I've
can
only
we
heard
find that?
only heard excerpts of it, and it sounds like.
it's as sad as you think. They also
All right,
It's
I'll be the.
it's
Let's,
pretty much
Tio and I will be the
Zach
judge. You heard
speech
this?
from
Ian?
08.
I've heard some of it.
All right.
What was your favorite part?
I have a dream.
Well, we have excerpts after this from Trump's acceptance.
That's gonna
speech
be
on
Trump's
Thursday
speech.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have excerpts coming.
All right, which one do you want queued up here?
Let's go with the comparison.
Michelle and
somebody does a line and then the other
All right.
person does
I
a line.
got that.
The Eastern European.
I'm all over it.
does
We're
a
going to sit
line.
here and somebody does a line and somebody else does a line. It sounds like a party.
sounds
Barack
like a
and I
weekend.
were raised with so many of the same values.
Now, is that Michelle or Melania?
That would be
Really?
she said Barack and I at the beginning.
Really?
What?
Let's start this over.
I did not detect an accent there. I could understand every word
I'm
there.
going to turn it up for you.
That's true. Michelle does speak English.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
Okay, that was the first part with Michelle Obama.
That's from
Okay,
2008.
that was Michelle.
That was Michelle.
I bet there's a distinct difference. Go ahead.
All right, here's the next part.
Parents impressed on me the values that you work hard.
What the hell is this?
That's Melania Trump. Maybe you've heard of her.
Keep going.
Her husband's got this big thing going on. We'll figure that out later, though.
Want in life. That your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you
That's exactly what Michelle said, except she learned it from her parents, and her and Barack.
She
learned
sounds
it
like a
together.
cross between Sofia Vergara and like Sophia Loren.
That's what I thought.
And Sophia from Golden Girls.
That too.
people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They thought and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
That wasn't too close, really.
Yes,
the beginning
it was.
was,
They
yeah.
changed
The-
words.
The beginning.
The first, you know.
This is how I used to do book reports in junior high.
I want to
not
be a
plagiarism.
speechwriter. I'd hammer this.
Absolutely.
Hey, after seeing your social media work, I don't know about that.
Yeah, bud. Yeah,
Hello.
dick. I did get into it with a Fox News anchor this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to
Save
hear
that,
about
yeah.
this. We got to hear about this. Applause.
Barack and I set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements
Holy
is the strength
shit.
of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh my God! Did she go into some dance party mode then, or
That she did.
children should know that we will pass on these dreams to the next generation
You sound just like her with
for
your eyes closed.
everyone to know the truth about America. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the United States of America.
oh my God!
Well,
Thank you. I am Latka Gravitz' wife, Melania.
and I say,
Thank
you very much.
Thank you very much. I am from Caspiar.
First of all, there's no way Slovenians sound like that.
maybe the rich ones.
They do now. Let me tell you.
That
Poster child for Slovenia. It's on, buddy. That's strike one. I say he's got about 10 strikes to go.
All right, let's get to his acceptance speech because they tried to do the block thing yesterday or the rules thing.
We're gonna win. It's gonna be huge.
No.
We're gonna win big.
I've heard that Vegas odds right now, Tio, that the opening line of his acceptance speech are 7 years ago. Even money.
As a joke.
Look, I'd give him props if he came out and said this. If he comes out and says this,
I
actually
have
give
a
him credit.
dream.
What happened 107 years ago?
7 years ago.
So you know what
our
fourscore means?
forefathers brought upon this land that we only have fear to fear itself. And ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you. And
Huge.
Mr. Gorbachev,
Huge.
tear down this wall so I can
Rebuild this wall.
so I can rebuild it bigger and better.
Our forefathers and my 3 wives, all half my age. Look at this guy over here. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Get him out of here. It's gonna be huge. Huge.
Would
fucking
you see-
hate
We should have Corey do a Trump podcast and we
be
just do
awesome.
him and his wife like dinner table
Oh
with the
my
Trumps.
God.
Just back and forth with himself.
I saw
Two
Mike
X.
Pence.
Honey.
Did they really change the TP logo? Is that
Yeah,
gone
did you see what
already?
it looked like?
It was
It was the
great.
T going through the P.
Yeah, well, I have no problem with that. Looked like a good baseball hat for a major league team of the future.
Don't give him any ideas.
that came from
He already ruined.
Tampa
He already
Ponte
ruined a
or
football
something.
league.
Yeah.
Let's not have him fuck up.
He
a
was.
baseball
I
league.
loved him initially as a teenager because of the USFL. I thought it was awesome.
What did his family do for him to have the money?
Real estate.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
It's hard to lose in real estate when you have real estate in Manhattan. Prices tend to go up.
I hate this fucker. And now he runs for president.
So what's coming?
What?
Because I'm hoping that death and violence are not coming.
The only thing is they can only go up from here.
Well, this
the
can't
bad
be rock
part.
bottom. This cannot be rock bottom.
My dad was over last night, and he said that when he was talking about the vice president, when Trump was talking about naming Pence as his vice president, that he made the decision with his assassination or death in mind. I don't know if that's true or not, but
doesn't every
well,
body do that?
but he came out and said it. Like he was like, that was my dad said that was like one of the big things he talked about, which I haven't seen that anywhere, and I didn't check into it, but I didn't know if you guys had heard that or not. But I mean, there is a good chance this guy gets killed if he's the president. I mean, like, and there's no joking aside, but like, this dude is. I mean, he's hated. Now, granted, if I think the chances of a Democratic president being assassinated is more likely than a Republican.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Not if it's this guy.
generally speaking, but
Has little Hillary picked vice president?
that's what I was about to say. Who's
Little Hillary over here.
who are they?
I don't know.
Who's the favorite? Have you,
You
looked
got
that
me.
up? I'll
You
check.
got
I'll check
me.
it out
God, I
on
hope it's
Vegas.
Al Franken. I would
Either
love
way.
to
Oh
be
my
Al Franken.
God, that would be incredible. Because
Just-
I'll actually have met someone who is running for office.
I can't imagine these two in a debate. I can't imagine him being. If they announce him to come out and give like.
We're losing Corey here. He just
Corey is literally—he's having a stroke. Folks.
This has
If
got to be
having a-
beautiful on
If
YouTube.
this guy is announced to come out and give a speech, give the State of the Union, and he walks up, have you guys thought about that?
No.
It's scary, is it not?
I can tell you what the rest of the world thinks,
They'll be laughing their asses
and
off.
scared out of their minds.
Wouldn't you be?
So yes,
They talk about the market and everything. The market will go into free fall.
Britain already think. I've had to convince British friends back in March that this was happening, and they're still not convinced. And I said, you are the same people who thought your country wasn't leaving the European Union, and you woke up one morning and your country had voted to leave the European Union.
There you go. They want stabilization.
So
Sorry.
the
we're
odds-on
getting way
favorite
off
right
on
now
this.
is Julian Castro and Elizabeth Warren. They're both at 2-1.
2-1 on Julian Castro.
Tim Kaine,
I don't like that.
Martin O'Malley,
Uh-huh.
Sherrod Brown, Bernie Sanders at 10-1,
Ooh, Bernie's a long shot.
Joe Biden 15-1.
Yeah.
That just
Does
kinda-
anyone want to be VP for 3 consecutive terms?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. As long as HBO's paying.
Bill Clinton is 120-1.
Oh, no.
I don't think you can
Oh,
do that, can you?
Yes, they can. There's nothing to prevent. I think I'm correct about this. Political analyst Brian,
No, he can't be VP.
He cannot be VP.
can-
Why not?
The only way that he could get back to the presidency is if he were made the Secretary of State,
Yeah, that sounds right.
which is an appointed position.
So nobody bet on those 120-1 odds.
the
but
president and
Secretary of
vice
State's
president
not
get
third in
killed.
line, right?
Yeah, no, Secretary of State's
Secretary
third in
of
line.
State's third.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Speaker
I
of
thought
the
Speaker,
House was third in line.
Yeah, I thought that was what it was too.
Wait a minute. It
No,
goes
no, no, no.
first
Wait,
VP,
yeah. Hold on.
second Speaker of
Look
the
it up,
House,
Everett.
third Secretary of State. No, Secretary of State is the second person to go. I don't know.
If only there were a machine that we could.
It's President, Vice President, Speaker of the House, President Pro Tour of the Senate. That's the first 4.
Okay.
Is that the Senate Majority Leader or
Oh, okay.
not?
Well, then there you go.
Orrin Hatch currently. So whoever.
I was way off.
Okay,
sorry.
no.
Then Secretary of State's number 5.
Number 5, you're up there.
Might as well run them through. See if you ever wanted to be president.
Plane
Well,
crash.
it would be possible for him to be the Speaker of the House. So
Right.
You got Secretary of State, then Treasury, then Defense, Attorney General, Secretary of Interior, Agriculture, Commerce, Labor.
Agriculture.
Yeah.
Well, you know why?
Number 10 is Agriculture.
Agriculture is number 10.
I think the only
That's
way that
awesome.
you could get somebody down that far in the rankings to
Nuclear
become president would be
Plane
like
crash.
a King Ralph type situation where they're all getting their picture taken and then get electrocuted.
King Ralph was a great movie.
Yeah.
King around.
You never seen the
John
John
Goodman?
Goodman
I
movie.
got you. I've never seen
or
it.
Poland when they put everybody in the Polish government on the same flight. That
No, the jokes.
Brilliant.
The
Or
jokes
Battlestar
write
Galactica
themselves.
when the
was
Cylons attacked.
brilliant. Oh God. I mean,
Secretary-
they did. The country lost literally all its government in 1 second.
You think Trump would try to sign a deal to have like a reality show inside the White
Yes.
House?
Nothing's off limits.
Nike would be the official sponsor of the White House.
He wouldn't make any
apparel.
money off of it. Once he becomes president, his image becomes public domain.
I make
You
deals.
can't make money off of it.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, this guy.
Don't put
is
anything
just-
past Trump.
Yeah, it would just be I don't know.
All right. What else? Let me tell
God, I hope it doesn't happen.
you. Let me tell you what else is going on with lineupmedia.fm. The Ocho Man is away this coming week, and if you want to hear Armand uncensored with no Ocho Man to be the yin to his yang, check out Behind the Eight Ball this
Strangely enough,
coming
you should
week.
mention that. I've been on the show these last 2 weeks.
Yes, you have,
the
E.
Ocho Man.
Yes, you
Yeah,
have.
It's been fun. Me, Todd, and Armand.
Dad.
Dad, you know Dad.
So it's a show about sports, about pop culture, about comedy. They call it the explosion of audio genius.
Eargasms.
Eargasms is what Corey calls it at the Facebook. Follow them at Ocho Man Behind the Eight Ball. On Twitter, Ocho Man Podcast. And check out the website, www.ochoman.com. All right, boys. So I was on vacation. What's going on in your neck of the woods, nape of the neck? What brings you here?
Well, while you were gone, we toyed around with replacing you a few times. We had,
Good.
We had Todd in here. Who else are we having?
Me?
We had Todd in here.
We had Todd and
B.
Bry,
Bamp was
producer
in.
Bry. We had a little baby Bamp.
Babe Bamp.
You are a saint, by the way.
Why? What's that?
You keep us from talking over each other.
I tried to.
There's something about you. You're like a glue.
I did not have as much luck. I just kind of sat back.
Yeah.
I tried helping, and
Totally tried
people
helping.
just talked over me the entire time. It was really frustrating.
We didn't miss you for the intro though. Tony had that, or Tony. Wow.
Corey
had that figured out. Little Tony.
Boys, we got a lot to talk about today.
There you go.
That's as close as I can get.
There you go.
It's not very good.
It was good enough. Man.
I'm tinkering with it.
So what's going on in sports? What do we got? Anything of?
Well, sports was ended.
it did.
They went ahead and finished that off.
No one tells
Well,
me
you were in England.
anything.
You were in England. They ended it though.
No. Still going on.
Good.
Well,
That's good.
I don't know what I'm gonna do this fall now.
Well, yeah, that's not my problem. Maybe you'll be like the rest of us and watch TV like a real.
Well, I
human.
already do.
Like dramedies and whatnot.
Yeah.
What are dramedies?
We
Drama
comedy.
comedies?
Comedic?
E and I watched a show yesterday.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Took a break. The new Vice Principal show
Is
on
this
HBO.
the dude? Is this?
It's
Well, first of all, it's Kenny Powers, right?
Walton Goggins and Danny McBride.
Danny McBride. That's the actor's name. But Walton Goggins
Was in The Shield. Was
and
in Sons
Justified.
of Anarchy and Justified.
He is Boyd Crowder.
He
in
was also
Justified.
in like Hateful Eight.
Was he in Sons of
Alien
Anarchy
versus
as the
Predator?
Yeah, he
as
was
the,
the
Aliens, rather.
the transvestite.
the
Predators.
transvestite with the big boobs?
Yeah, but what was her name? Venus Van Dam.
Venus. Yeah.
Venus Van Dam.
God,
You know,
he's-
not a lot of people
Cletus
know that
Van
that,
Dam.
that name
Cletus Van Dam.
was a
He is-
pull off of his Shield character. He had an alias in the Shield called Cletus Van Dam.
Yep.
Which was written by the same writers that write Sons of Anarchy. So they just kind of a little tongue in cheek. We'll just name her Venus Van Dam.
A little nod.
Because Walton's already used the Van Dam thing before.
But man, he
Okay, so show good.
He plays a
Vice
very
principal.
a very feminine character
Oh,
in
Walton?
this,
Yeah.
with a
Danny McBride's character,
Southern lisp,
he describes it perfectly as
Wait,
he calls
Southern
him.
lisp.
like a
Yeah.
sassy Southern. It's pretty funny. He nails it.
Can
though.
you do the Southern lisp?
Danny McBride's
no.
character describes it perfectly when he says to him, "You sassy motherfucker," because he's pretty much exactly that.
And then he's a toned down Kenny Powers a little bit, but a lot of the deliveries are the same.
Yeah,
and
pretty much. I would say that you can't have Kenny Powers in a grade school, but it's damn close.
Oh, Danny McBride just does the one.
He's
One character,
typecasted.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, I mean he can't do.
Well, he's
much
supposed to be in the new Aliens movie that's coming out. It's like a direct sequel to Alien 2 or Aliens, but
more aliens.
pretty much. But he says he's not going to do any comedy in that. It's going to be a complete straight laced performance. So that'll be interesting.
Bill
coming
Murray
from
used
him.
to say that too.
Bill
about
Murray
his
was
dramatic
actually
movies.
in the first episode.
Yeah, he was the principal that
He was the
retired.
principal. That's really funny.
I'm gonna have to see this show now.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm in.
man.
I'm in. You have sold me. Vice Principals?
There's
Is that
there's-
it?
Yep. There's some good lines. though.
Division of
It's-
Home Box Office.
Okay.
It's a. I mean, it's nothing too deep, obviously, but the humor. There's
Yeah, the first
great
episode was a
one-liners.
good setup.
Yeah.
Look, I watch enough deep things. E and I watch enough deep things. You watch enough of the criminal element shows that are deep. Sometimes you just got to watch
30 for
something
30, Charlie
that's
Manson.
completely mindless.
Whatever you guys
Ballers.
talk about.
Ballers
Yes,
started back.
Ballers.
I started watching
Now-
Ballers. I watched the first episode, maybe the first 2 episodes last night.
About 3 weeks
pretty
ago, T.O. and I were at dinner
He's been in England for a while.
in
Yeah.
Omaha, right?
Yo.
Yep.
And a guy sitting at the bar with us
yes,
goes,
jack off.
"Man, you look familiar. You look familiar to me."
Not so fast show podcast.
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
Where's my pen?
And after we went through that, we're on Not So Fast podcast and we're ready to sign autographs.
This motherfucker thought I looked like the guy, the little dude from Hot Tub Time Machine. The
Oh, yeah,
bald
Rob
guy.
Corddry from Ballers, right?
Yeah, don't
Yes.
don't look fucking anything like him.
No,
I was
that's
so
perfect.
Yeah, fuck off.
From now on, your name is Lugal.
Not a. That's what I was saying that night. I was like, if you're gonna say it, say Lugal.
Corey, Big E, and Lugal here for the show today.
Or Motley fucking Tim or whatever. Motley Lou.
Motley Lou. But I didn't have a hat on, and I hadn't shaved my head, so I had the male pattern baldness really working. It was strong to
he
quite
could have been your
strong.
older brother.
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah. No, when we brought up the picture on,
it looked nothing like me.
it looked. No, it didn't really.
No.
But you look like you could have been the younger brother.
Yeah.
And then our
That's
waitress
awesome.
looked like Pennsatucky from Orange Is the New Black.
Ew.
Yeah.
And we showed her a picture of that.
It was an ugly table, apparently.
Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah.
And she wasn't having it. Yeah. Oh my God.
Lugal?
Look at that. That is your older brother.
Take off your hat, Tim. Take off your hat.
I tell you what, your younger brother looks a lot like him.
Yeah, Matt looks more like that guy than I do.
Yeah.
There.
Let's get.
No.
Who are your guys'
No
doppelgangers? Nobody else gets Big E?
When I was
everybody?
young and thin, they used to say John Cusack. And I never saw it.
And now they say John Candy.
Exactly.
Who's the Pacey from Dawson's Creek? When I was younger and thinner, people said I looked like
Joshua
the Pacey.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Jason Priestley.
Nope.
Josh Jackson.
Conway from the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Spazway? Charlie Spazway?
Charlie Spazway.
Really?
I don't see it.
Fucking
I have more
Keefer.
face hair.
Yeah. True.
He was 10.
What about you, Corey? Who you got?
Face hair.
It was Val Kilmer,
I used
wasn't
to
it?
get.
Oh, Iceman, sure.
Well, yeah. Just Tim, go
Was
ahead.
that no? Was that one of them?
No, just let him know.
Was you
He
get a
knows
lot
more
of
about my
dick?
life.
Corey, how
than
old are
I
you,
ever
Tim?
do.
We're same age.
Well, I was asking you how old he was. Well,
Yeah.
I was asking him, but I wanted you the answer.
Yeah.
34.
And what are you doing for lunch today, Corey, Tim?
I don't know, Corey. Birthday is
go ahead.
April 20th.
420?
Is that? No.
That is.
Did you see what time the Colorado delegates walked out yesterday?
I don't know what that is.
There was someone else they said that you look like. Who was it?
No, answer this question.
No, we want to go back to this though
The
because there was-
Colorado delegates walked out of the convention
Corey's
yesterday
gonna walk out if he don't
at
answer
a
this question.
specific time. Corey,
420?
4:20.
Yeah.
Colorado. That makes sense.
Shaq.
Bunch of Stooners out there.
So
Okay,
who's
continue.
the other one you get? Because
Shaq?
I feel like you got someone else that you look like.
Dude, you know more about me than I do.
I can't remember the
could've-
other one, though.
I think Corey could have played Val Kilmer's role in Real Genius.
I give that in a remake. You could have been Chris
Real
Knight.
genius.
Yeah, you could have been Chris Knight, no
Yeah.
doubt.
You remember the one where they were in college? They were young. They were like Wonder Kids working on the laser. At the end of the movie, they fire the laser without the popcorn, makes the house blow up with all the popcorn.
Pull him up because I can only think of. I don't even know what Val Kilmer they said he looked like.
Think fucking Top Gun, man.
Never
Same
seen.
era.
I've never seen Top
What?
Gun.
Get out.
Stop it.
I swear to God, never seen Top Gun.
Wow, fucking. What about Willow?
Well, no.
No, that,
Man, I
first of all,
remember
that's
seeing that
medieval
movie as a
fantasy, so
kid.
you know that's out.
Look,
How in the world,
Well, he hasn't had a good movie since the 80s, so
Have
maybe
you never
he's
seen
speaking at the RNC.
Tombstone?
Top Gun?
I haven't.
How?
Because I don't give a fuck about planes, man. Fighter pilots, whatever.
Is that the one with all
Iron
the
Eagle
guys
blows
shirts
it.
off?
Iron Eagle blows it away.
Look how bad he looks these days.
Oh, I don't see that at all.
Well, that's what Corey's going to look like in 20
He's
years.
lost some weight.
No,
Well,
even
this is
just
fair, but
up top. So let me ask this: when did people say you look like Val Kilmer in our childhood? Like what point in time?
When I was in my early 20s,
So after high school, I don't see it.
I'm Val to some people.
I don't think so.
You did your hair like
Well, he's
that.
not oily, ripped up Val.
Not yet. But he's got the things around his hand, just like
See?
Iceman. Na, 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 na. I don't know the song, but I remember the tune. We were there playing volleyball.
Yeah.
Kenny
Kenny Loggins.
Kenny
isn't
Loggins
it?
tune. Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's when they say I look more like him down there with the hair. When
That
I had,
one?
I had a lot of hair at one point. in my life.
Well, you did
Well,
that. You
enjoy
did
your hair while it lasts.
You did your goatee.
Don't have much now.
Didn't you do the facial hair like that though?
No. But
Who else did they say you look like?
Oh my
that was
god.
pretty much it. I know we're still on this.
No, because I could have swore.
Hey, 6 or 7
Why do
more and
you-
we'll be done with it.
Why do
No,
you think
I want to know.
this is what I went through? Trying to keep
He's got a little
fucking
crush.
frick,
He's got a little crush on you.
frick, frack, and fuck, keeping them on task,
Got a
and it
little
was
crush
like,
on you.
No, didn't
Here,
didn't
Kentucky.
You didn't you get the Fred Durst thing a lot?
Oh my god.
We've talked about this about
Dude,
9
you-
times.
I love
love-
saying it just to get him going because I know he doesn't.
I know it's like listening to a John Calipari speech
So
about
look, do
honesty.
I look like Fred Durst now?
Yes. Yes.
Nookie did it all.
You
for
did.
the
You look
Nookie.
like Durst
Thanks.
after a huge
I guess.
munchie bender.
Hey, let's tell a bunch of inside jokes.
The
No.
I'll talk about the RNC for another 2 hours.
No
We don't
shit.
knock it
I
off.
was gonna
God, no.
say we can go back.
We got
I know
college
they were
football coming up. Like,
Oh,
we
even
can
better.
break that down
I'm out of
forever.
here.
The
That's what this is going to be like.
someone
You don't
asked
need me.
someone who was it? Did you ask me, T.O., about Game of Thrones in over there? Is it a big deal? In
Yeah,
England?
yep,
Heck
I
yeah,
did.
it's a big deal.
Tim's trying to figure out his windscreen here.
Yeah, because you were told not to play with it, and you went and played with it.
broke. I didn't play with
Yeah,
it.
no, you went and touched it, and it's broke.
You broke it.
So hey,
This is why we can't have nice things.
shut up. It's not nice. Well, you guys, Tony wasn't here to do the breakdown of the last episode. You guys didn't get on the same page with the last episode of Games of Thrones.
baby.
So
Last
First
two,
of
I
all,
think.
it's Game of Thrones.
Games of Thrones.
Games
whatever.
Games of Thrones.
Corey, where are you at on the season?
I just finished the second episode of the third season.
Okay,
Of Game of Thrones? You liar.
he's getting
No,
there.
no.
I could tell. He's lying.
I do want you guys to break this down because
Me too.
Liar.
from what I've read, it's setting up.
Well, you
to
haven't
go-
read anything.
No, there's
you don't read.
That's not true.
You
That's
don't
not
Pulling
true.
a Tony here coming out with facts out of nowhere, making up stories.
Ready?
Like, remember that time we caught you? We won't go into it, but you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I told you, don't ever ruin the punchline again when I tell a story about dead rappers lying in a street.
Yeah, you weren't there.
I didn't say I was there.
You did.
Fish and Parrot were there, dude.
Fish and parrot.
Dingo and the baby were there.
So they're setting up for women to have complete power. Is this what's going on? There's 3 different.
Boy, I don't accept this question from you. I just don't.
No, I was looking at this. So
So he's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
Okay, I got a couple things on this one.
Yeah, let's just mute them. We'll have a combo.
Game of Thrones
What have
finale.
I fucking
You
said?
shush.
First of all, the finale was basically the last 2 episodes.
Right.
Battle of the Bastards. In the first 25 minutes of the actual last episode, I thought might have been some of the best things ever put on television.
The Battle of the Bastards is by far the best episode of Game of Thrones that has ever been on.
Ever aired. Yes.
Ever.
I can't look over there.
Where?
Why not?
At the mechanic over here working on his mic.
Anything he touches breaks.
It's not that hard. You just kind of pull it apart, just like open it. Like,
That's what it sounds like, folks, when you have
let
to
me
fix
illustrate
something.
for those of you on YouTube. This is the windscreen. It goes in front of the mic to keep things like
I'm back.
happening. So then you just kind of open it and let it go.
I was trying to snap it on
Yeah.
Don't snap it. There's no clicks.
to something.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
Battle of the Bastards.
Unbelievable.
It's pretty good.
You got to see it, if nothing else, for how they filmed this thing.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Real horses, not a lot of CGI.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Have you not seen the special on how much CGI that was? It was all CGI. All of
How
it.
did the guy almost get run over by a real horse
Facts.
thing?
Wait. I'll show you whenever we get on with this recording thing here. It's like a 9-minute documentary on the Battle of the Bastards. It is all CGI.
Really?
Yeah.
Even I know the over-the-top shots are CGI, but
I just
Everything.
I read that they had the Jon Snow character standing in a field with horses running on both sides.
No, that
You're
did not
saying
happen at all.
faked?
There was
Oh, boy.
no horses that ran past him. When that first scene where they the two armies clash, didn't happen.
Then holy, my goodness, the CGI got even
Dude, it was
better.
beautiful. It was beautiful CGI work.
I just
They
I,
had me convinced that
the
was
giant,
the real horse.
the giant was not real.
He wasn't.
It was all CG.
I just want this out there.
Go for
The
it.
last thing I saw with real horses.
Was I involved?
I felt bad for the horse
Baby, I am
I'm
not
thinking of
from Havana.
at the end. Okay, go ahead.
TJ, that was donkeys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So what else happened in Battle of the Bastards? Fuck, I don't know. It's been like 3 weeks now.
Look, here's the questions. Are the Lannister twins at odds with each other?
Well,
Are Cersei and Jaime?
Let's say it like this: we finished the season with Cersei assuming control after blowing up the High Sept, blew up all of her. She lit the wildfire under the church, basically.
Wildfire, Corey.
Killed thousands of people. It was like a giant green explosion.
She
in the middle
blew
of
the
city.
whole thing up. She said, "You're going to bring me to trial. You're
Yeah,
going to put
they were
me.
gonna put her
you're
on
gonna
trial.
Put me to death."
You put me
Watch
on trial?
this.
You put me on trial?
She went all
Trial
Bobby
me?
De Niro on their ass.
Long story short, she blew
Oh.
blew him the fuck up, takes control of the kingdom, just says, now I'm the queen for whatever reason, like there's any kind of, what's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for here?
Like
Precedent.
Yeah. She just
She's
said,
the Freddie Mercury of this
Yeah. I'm taking the throne now.
battle.
The interesting part about your question is you ask if Jaime and Cersei are at odds.
Yes.
Well, the thing about it is the exact reason that Jaime is known as the Kingslayer for killing the previous, 2 or 3 kings ago,
Yeah.
was that he was going to light the wildfire and blow up the city. Mm-hmm. He was going to burn them all, and be happy to watch them burn, which is the exact same thing his sister did.
Yep.
So he gets back and is able to watch her coronation from basically on the outside of the crowd and gives her just this weird look like, what the fuck? She's all knowingly like, yeah, well, I'm the badass now. I don't really need you. So
All right.
it'll be interesting to see how next season starts. I think Cersei dies next season. Has to.
Who
She has to die.
does Daenerys hook up since she friend zoned her lover in like the worst possible way ever?
I don't think she's gonna end up with anybody.
Well, she said, look, I got to go and make these. I got to go and make these pacts, and you do so by marriage, and I can't have my boy toy around.
That's what she said, but I still don't think it's gonna end up that way. Westeros is a way different animal than Essos. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
I'm calling some lesbianism.
Well, no,
That was
that's
kinda
in the
hinted.
cards, Tio.
Yeah.
That's why you might want to get on board.
In the
with
Battle of
this.
the Bastards episode, I think it was, whenever, what's her name, Yara, also known as Asha from the books.
Yara.
Yara. She says something like, and I suppose your offer doesn't come along with marriage. And she's like, well, I'll try anything once.
I'm up for
basically.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two are definitely going to be. There's
Hey,
a hookup
Kitty.
there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Okay,
Next
Jon
year.
Snow and Sansa. Is that a pairing, or is Jon
Whoa,
Snow?
that's his cousin / half sister.
Is it?
Well, not really his half sister, but his cousin for sure. I don't know. I guess in Game of Thrones that doesn't matter.
When's the next episode?
Probably a year from now.
2017?
Sometime.
Okay, just
Summer
check.
of
Hey, this is an end of
2017.
season talk, Pally.
No, it's not.
Why
They
isn't
just
it?
announced it yesterday. It was they're pushing it back from spring to summer of 2017.
I'm fine with that.
I can wait.
I hope they cancel your precious foosball
They won't.
and that college foosball.
They won't.
Well, not if I have a.
It was fantastic stuff.
So the
glad for you
the
guys.
big deal though was the death of Ramsay Bolton. Finally,
Man, I'm sorry to see that.
Was he the midget?
No,
no, he was the biggest cocksucker.
I know
in the
you were
series.
hoping so you could start watching the show.
He's up for. Is he up for an Emmy?
Probably
Peter
right.
Dinklage.
Yeah, probably. He's
Okay,
pretty fucking good.
Got a question.
He's up for a raise.
But ting.
So what?
Yeah.
What happens if he accepts? He wins. He goes up for his acceptance speech.
And then they assassinate him. What are you?
No,
gonna
he can't.
reach
How
the
would
mic?
he reach the mic?
Oh, those mics lower and they.
Yeah, he's not as tall as the damn podium.
They might just hand him the mic.
No,
That's
no,
what I was
no,
gonna
no,
say.
no. They have the stick.
Look at
mic
him coming
that
up with
comes-
problems.
It comes right up out of the stage now.
I know, but that podium that you stand at.
No,
There's
you
no
don't. But
podium
you don't
anymore.
stand at a podium anymore.
Oh, they just hand them to you.
Yeah, they go
Yes.
up there and they got an envelope.
Oh,
Two people
okay.
stand next to each other.
I
Don't know what to do with
thought you
their
did your
hands.
speech at the little
I don't know what to do with
thing.
my hands.
No.
I want to finish this episode not
The
knowing what to
raisin-
do with my
the
hands.
raisins. Just keep them down. Just keep them down, Ricky.
Car ran real good.
But back to Ramsay. Back to Ramsay.
Oh, you would love this character so much
He
too,
was a
because
dick,
he's
dude.
the world's best asshole ever.
He gets his though. At the end of the Battle of the Bastards, they storm Winterfell. Jon beats the ever-loving shit out of him,
Yes.
and they lock him in a dungeon. Not before though. He shoots an arrow right into Woon Woon's head, the giant, right through the eye, and kills the giant.
What was
the
the
last
name?
giant? Woon or Woon Woon? WNWN, I think his name is.
Woon woon.
Woon woon.
Kills him. Jon beats the piss out of him, but he stops short whenever he sees his, as far as he knows, his half sister looking at him. So it kind of brings him back and snaps him out of fucking beating him to death. So they lock him up in the dungeon. At the end of the episode, you see Sansa come down, which is his ex-wife. It was they forced him. The dude was like horrible to her, raped her, made the dogs fuck her. So at the end of the episode, she goes down.
Who
there.
wouldn't want to watch this by like all the?
Well, they don't show the dog fucking part. That's from the books. The books are way more twisted than the show.
Jesus.
So she's down there talking shit to him, and he's like, "Oh, you'll always be a part of you. You can't kill me." And then you hear a couple whimpers, and the dude's fucking hounds start walking in. Now, realize he uses these hounds as
The
basically as
dogs
weapons.
eat them, so he starved the dogs.
Did you watch the episode?
No, we've done this fucking dog and pony show already. Yep. And that's how much I listen to you guys.
Well, that's the end of that then. I'm not doing it twice.
What? I listen.
Very good. That was awesome. though.
No, go ahead and
pretty
tell
good.
it. I was joking.
was awesome.
Me
I
and
was
Tony
just
didn't
saying.
get you
It was one of the.
You're right.
It was
guys
one of
talked
the
about
baddest
this.
ass scenes.
Well, they chewed him up. It was over.
Oh, wait a minute. That was when the Lake Show was in here,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yep, the Lake Show was
man,
here.
I
Oh, it's
feel
whenever
bad. Keep going.
I got you. It's whenever I was in Maine, you had Lake on the show, and you guys, he took my place. That fucker.
They broke it down like Degeneration X.
Break it down, like that kind of thing.
So they got into that, and who were the dogs? Those dogs were part of the who? The Lannister tribe?
I got
my
a question. Who let the dogs out?
The Bahaman.
Who? Who?
The Bob.
We met those guys once at the Super Bowl. It
How'd
was
that
as
go?
bad as you think it would be.
Was Lou Vega with them?
I don't know.
What about the parrot and fish?
The one fish was there, not
Fish
the parrot
So
wasn't.
how'd fish get along with the dogs?
We basically made him do the interview since he was the one who wanted to do it, and I was dead set against it. And they were as dumb and as illiterate as you would think they were.
Fish let the dogs out.
Yep, he sure did.
So what is the since we're gonna finish this? 'Cause
Oh, no,
I
I'm
know
done.
you guys want to finish this.
You've killed it.
What is the top storyline heading into next summer?
And this is the last season, right?
2 seasons.
Stuff's
to
going
go.
to happen.
Okay.
People are going to die. Zombies are coming.
Next storyline.
What is the storyline? going in?
Daenerys is coming to claim the throne. So the battle of the bitches.
Well,
we had the battle of the bastards. We got the battle of the bitches.
It's almost the
coming up.
convergence of the White Walkers, which are your northern zombies, versus the dragon people.
Don't confuse the
Zombies and
northern
dragons, Corey.
Zombies with the southern zombies.
Zombies.
Then there's the children of
and
the forest,
dragons.
which are a lot like elven creatures.
10 p.m. Eastern on HBO. Sunday
Don't
nights.
confuse those
That is
Corey
correct.
with
So-
the children of the corn.
You talked about the books earlier. Is the book series finished?
No, there's
No.
2 more books going.
Well, that's what I was curious about. Is if the books are
This
done.
season of the show actually had some
you
stuff.
should see a picture of the guy who writes. Can we show him a
sure.
picture of Jar Jar
George
Martin?
R. R. Martin, yeah.
Because you guys are going to get a laugh out of this. This is exactly
Take
what
care of that
you
for me,
might
Producer
think
Bry.
this guy looks like.
Yeah, there he is. Top
There you
right.
go.
Yeah, about right.
That's about right.
He always wears his captain's hat.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he was originally part of
Also-
Captain and Tennille, and then Tennille left.
That's
Was he?
not true.
Jesus titties. Who would have thought that guy'd like dragons and zombies?
And incest.
Everybody.
Wasn't he a Whale Wars dude?
No,
I
he
think
was
he's
on.
on Wicked Tuna right now.
Whale Wars.
He was on Deadliest Catch for a while. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was actually trying to.
That's where he got the idea for Game of Thrones.
Was he the star? Was he the catch?
He was the bait.
God. It's a large human being. Oh, and he wears suspenders.
If you
Boy,
would like
that'll
to
add it.
listen to one of these George R. Martin books, what the hell are the names of them even? Because their names aren't
There's
Game
a Song
of
of
Thrones.
Ice of Fire.
The what?
Here, let me get them all up.
The Song of Ice and Fire.
That's the whole series.
They had a picture and it said wife.
Oh, here we go.
Ice and
Like,
Fire.
if you
There
can
go.
believe it.
Oh, so a Game of Thrones is a book.
Right.
A Dance with Dragons.
The whole thing is a Song of Ice and
Clash
Fire.
of Kings, A Storm of Swords, A Feast of Crows. Well, you can get those at Audible. Go to audible.com. How about that? You see how I did that, Corey?
Yeah,
I did
couldn't
nearly
do it.
verbatim the same thing the other day.
I could. I tried, man. And I was like, Big E, take it away.
So you go to Audible, you type in Game of Thrones or George R. Martin, and you will get the audiobook of these. A 30-day free trial is waiting for you. audibletrial.com/notsofast, where over 180,000 titles, including the ones that T.O. and Corey are going to be downloading and listening to on their way home from work. They're waiting there for you. It's all for your iPhone, your Android, your Kindle, or your MP3 player.
Welcome to Winds of Winter, the Game of Thrones.
It's not bad. You should do
I
an
gotta
audiobook.
say, Corey,
Oh,
I think we
thought
should
about
just
it.
write
Chapter
stuff.
1.
A feast for crows.
Bastards get bastards.
Storm of swords.
Swords. I don't think there's a T in swords.
There's
Swords.
The Clash of Kings. Game
Clash
of
of
Thrones
Kings.
by George R. Martin. It started on a wintry night
Winter.
in the green
is coming.
hills of Iceland when the people found the dragon Slayer's lair.
Oh, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You lost.
You got good spoken words.
You went
though.
about 2 sentences too far.
You and Nick Cannon or somebody should go after like the open
That is
mic
the
deal.
second Nick Cannon reference in 2 weeks.
Really?
How does that happen?
Well, you're very Nick Cannon.
2 weeks where we hit on meth.
He's huge.
2 Nick Cannon shows.
I hit on meth every week. Dum-ting. Not
Nick-
really. I don't do meth. For the
Nick
record.
Cannon's on meth.
Oh, here we go.
Yep, that's how rumors get started.
We'll talk
That's
about that
how
on
rumors
today.
Part do you?
So, yeah, coming up on part 2, we got more to talk about here on Not So Fast on this week's edition
We got to
of the
talk about
program.
Cyborg getting his fucking skull crushed in, too. But we'll talk about that part 2.
And I've got a ton of questions about what the hell is the UFC now for all of you. Well, Corey and I have a ton of questions.
And I got 2 big days coming up. I kind of wanted to mention those.
Yeah. 2 big days?
2 big days.
Two?
Concert days.
Married twice.
I got a concert recap for you.
I know.
Okay, yeah. So all of that and more coming up on the second edition of Not So Fast, Part 2 this week here on lineupmediagroup.fm.
We do it for your children. That is why we do the show.
And we are streaming.
We are back with Part 2. A lot to talk about. We recap the RNC, Game of Thrones in the first. In fact, there's not much difference between Game of Thrones sometimes and the RNC, it looks like.
I don't know. I never watched the RNC.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
There might be a
We
beheading.
should get together.
Compare notes.
Exactly. Well, I was away.
How many swords at the RNC?
It's, well, Ohio's an open
And-
carry state, aren't they?
Republicans
I don't
are
think
known for swinging their swords around.
So, yeah, it's
At
probably
least
pretty
Trump
similar.
is.
But I'm ting.
My hands huge.
Wish I knew more about Trump, so I got that. I really am a non-political. And I didn't watch The Apprentice, so I don't get
Me
that.
That has
neither.
nothing to do with The Apprentice.
No.
Well, I would at least have an idea of fucking Trump.
it has to do with what Captain Dipshit says on a regular basis.
I assume that's Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dipshit. I can tell that. But that's all I know about him.
So when I was on vacation, UFC 200 went down. Mm-hmm. And I mean, apparently it went down.
Like,
In flames.
like the Titanic.
Yeah.
I mean, first things first,
Well,
they
that's all
lost.
they're here right there. Did you hear, T.O.?
Shit, Brock got
They're
busted.
they're
Yeah.
lucky.
Sorry.
They're lucky Brock's test didn't come back before because
He had a
once-
complete waiver, though, beforehand.
Yeah, but it
They were
was
still testing him strangely, but even if he failed, he had a waiver.
Sorry for talking over you, Tony. I didn't mean to fuck
there
you
was
up.
there was a self-administered. He was allowed to self-test, but USADA was testing before, and he still would have got flagged. His test that he tested positive for was June 28th. I'm wanting to say.
Okay.
So it was a little bit later than Jones's, from what I understand.
Not just
But-
one guy, 2 guys,
So,
right?
well, yeah, they pulled Jones from the main event, so then they had to scramble. But if Lesnar would have been popped and it would have came back beforehand, I don't think he would have been able to fight. Even since he had the self.
Do you just cancel the event at that point?
You can't. I mean, like they had the International Fight Week around it.
Oh,
So they got lucky with it, but it does bring the question up: did they know before? Did they push it back? But it's completely separate from UFC, and USADA would have made the announcement. So what happens with this is to where, you look at the WWE side of it, and their superstar Roman Reigns, the big guy that they're wanting to be the next John
Isn't he
Cena.
Undertaker's cousin, strangely enough?
The Rock's.
Rocks, that's what it is. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
He had a wellness. They call it wellness violation. So he tested positive for something. WWE's never announced what the substance was.
Okay.
Now here's the difference. Lesnar's is going to be public what he was taking, but with USADA and Tony, I don't know if you remember this, but remember with the women's team how any girl that was in the Olympic pool or had played with the national team, they would have to get tested. So like Christy Welsh is the one I remember that she'd have to go piss all the time, and she hadn't played in like 5 years with the national team or longer, and she'd throw a fit about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
I
not,
do remember
yeah.
that.
So that was USADA who would show up, the U.S. anti-doping whatever.
Yeah.
So what's weird about that is you can get flagged for like taking Advil. Like there's bizarre stuff that causes
Like an antihistamine,
there's just crazy shit that they don't want you taking.
like an
And-
asthmatic inhaler.
Yes,
would-
and they're actually saying that
There's steroids in those. So
they're
yeah.
actually saying that Lesnar's is from an inhaler. That's what kind of the rumors going around, that he might have tested from an inhaler.
okay.
Does
what it-
Lesnar seem like the type of guy who would ever dope? I mean, honestly, that guy he's a brute, but he doesn't seem like the type of guy to take that kind of cheap, easy way.
I don't know. And Jones, I don't think John Jones was cheating. I honestly don't believe he was ever taking a steroid. I probably think he was doing something that he was done before that wasn't illegal, and then once the USADA came in,
More recreational
rules
drugs.
changed.
And,
Recreational doesn't show on these.
Right.
It doesn't matter. So Lesnar wasn't doing any street drugs, wasn't doing anything. It was some type of enhancement, but it also could have been like
I bet it was a recovery drug of some kind.
well, and that's so John Jones tested positive for 2 estrogen blockers,
there you go.
or too high levels of estrogen, which blocks.
yeah, but I think that was due to the fact he has man titties, right?
Yeah, that's exactly
What he did, he wanted to get rid of them.
No, it's a blocker for
Can I get rid of mine by
high
doing
levels
this?
of testosterone,
Oh, I can't.
and it
Damn
blocks steroids. It's a way to mask. It's a masking agent, is
Gotcha.
what most people are saying. But Lesnar stuff is going to become. I mean, everybody's going to know shortly what he was taking. Mark Hunt has come out and said, "Have you seen this?" E?
Yes.
He wants all the purse now.
He came out and said, "All right, this
Well, he
is,
started with half, but
I want half of the money from that fight, or I want released." Then he came out later and said, "I want all the money, or I want released." Well, nobody's gonna pay that fuck. I mean, like he is what he is. He's an all right fighter. He's entertaining, but nobody's gonna pay him what he's making there. But the fact that he's wanting $1.25 million for it.
2.5 now.
Yeah, but what pisses me off is his last 2 fights he's fought guys that tested positive and wasn't asking for their money.
But now he is.
But it's just to keep him in the, like, I haven't heard him say anything about getting the decision changed or anything like that. Well, it'll be changed to a no contest. But, like, he's just taking he's trying to get as much out of this as he can. And at the end of the day, Lesnar beat his ass. And he was like, Lesnar hits like a puss.
Yeah, for
and
somebody
he's-
who's on juice, he hits like a pussy.
Yeah, he's like, hands up. He couldn't.
Good idea to say that.
You just got beat by a pussy on juice, apparently, there, Mark.
Yeah.
And you guys can be upset on the UFC side all you want. My problem is with the doping agencies thing.
It is.
And it was, T.O. and I were texting back and forth, and like, guys get popped for taking too many ibuprofen and stuff like that. I mean,
It's wild.
they make things that are, I mean, come on.
You can go to Walgreens, pay
Like
$20.
creatines.
Yeah.
Remember, people took creatine like crazy in the
Oh, yeah.
2000s. Now that's
Andro
like,
and all
And they've had a couple guys test positive in UFC that their supplement companies have tainted stuff. So they're taking stuff that their sponsors are giving them, and they're using the same caps to mix them, and just the dust from the other supplements, if it gets in there, can trigger a
contamination.
positive. Yes. So they're going to go through all Jones supplements. He's going to send them there. They're going to test all the stuff. Then they're going to go get store samples.
what? I don't
to see.
care.
yeah, exactly. This is way too much.
I don't care, because here's the question I have for you guys, the hardcore UFC fans.
You know how much it costs for one of those tests, though, by the way?
Oh, I've got to imagine it's $20,000 bucks.
$40,000.
Oh,
what the fuck?
It's incredibly expensive.
And you know, that's kind of funny because that goes to the State Athletic Commission, which is paid for, what, by taxes? Or do they actually charge the UFC for these tests?
I'm not sure who pays, but it's fucking insane.
That's hardcore UFC people.
I don't care.
See, I don't care either. You know, my long-term advocacy is there's no way to police it, so just let's all be honest about it and tell us what everybody's on. Okay? So do you, as a UFC fan, care? Because here's what I know. Trying to get into this sport and hearing about UFC 200 for months and months and months is just a complete catastrophe.
It was a big letdown.
It's just a complete catastrophe. It's like coming to the Super Bowl and then the 2 conference winners not showing up.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, you can't do that. You can't run
But
a
it's-
business that way. Here's how you can run a business. And I don't
Sell
mean to go
it.
the WWE model, but just go, look, tell us what you're on, and if it's really unsafe, we're going
They
to
don't-
test for it, and we're gonna pop you on the wellness test. like they
WWE's
did.
got some of the toughest testing. I
right.
mean, they're pretty serious with their testing right
There
now.
you go. So do that. Do that. That's more honest.
But And that's the thing. Like you can test for the different steroids, HGH, if you don't want the HGH in it, and then what was some of the other stuff that they had the guys doing? They eliminated the IV. They weren't letting the guys do the IVs to rehydrate.
See, to me that seems insane because rehydration is that's actually protecting somebody.
But what they're trying to do is like not what's the word I'm looking here? Keep people from like cutting weight by just dehydrating themselves.
Yeah,
they
and
shouldn't
then
be
going
that heavy.
No, that you should not do. That's not rehydration.
But when they're doing it the way they're doing, the rehydrating that quick is the safest way to help those guys get better.
Right.
But
If
they're
you
trying
can't
to
rehydrate
eliminate
safely and win, then it's not worth it to dehydrate yourself, be that heavy beforehand, and cut that kind of weight.
That's right.
And just so we're all clear, the reason all of this is in place is because of lawsuits. Because any of this coming back in the end, once these guys are retired, once these guys don't have money,
Right.
I took all this stuff. This is the same reason that WWE had to get on steroids, because people were coming back blaming the governing body that you're
Speaking of
underneath.
that,
They're getting go.
did you not hear about that yesterday? A group of old wrestlers is suing the WWEF, whatever you want to call it. It was F when most of these guys were there, but claiming that they knew that this was a risk for their health. Like these wrestlers didn't know that this is bad for them.
I know.
Fucking idiots.
That's why. That's the same reason these things are in place in UFC, and it's the same reason you got to pop them when they get in trouble.
Lanny Poffo saying that he doesn't know it was bad for him. I have to say, bullshit, Lanny, you're the genius.
It's not that they. And
I don't think he's involved, actually.
So on the UFC front, though, if what did Jones do? What did John Jones do? Because here's your marquee.
They said it's estrogen.
Okay, does that really affect his performance?
No,
Then I don't care.
And that's the thing. You look at him. He
but it's a
does not-
masking agent, isn't it?
Yes, but I honest to God, I really don't think he's ever taken anything.
And Lesnar,
I think the dude parties, and I mean
Sure,
that's obviously been
obviously,
proven.
Yeah, but you can't go on opinion like I don't think he did. He fails for anything. You gotta.
Well, and that's
Fairly,
going to
you
be
have
the
to-
issue. But like everybody that's talked to him, and even like the guys at UFC who don't like him, they're saying that they don't think that. And again, it's their opinion, but they don't think that he's doing that.
Okay.
That he wouldn't do it. And it's not the promoters.
Sure.
It's other fighters. It's people that don't
it's
like
his colleagues.
him. Yes.
Even the colleagues who don't like
don't
you say,
like
him.
They're kind of taking aside to say like that doesn't match his character.
By the standards that are being set here.
the guys that he gets paid by are saying it's
No,
not
like
in his
other
character.
fighters that don't like him are kind of like going about saying like he's not one of these guys that would do it.
Yeah.
The Brazilians are notorious for doping, like to do like doing this stuff, and what you're seeing is like we could probably make a lot of money because the changes have just started probably 4 months ago. I'm wanting to say, you look at these guys when they come to the weigh-ins and their bodies are just freaking flat out different. The appearance of these guys, you just look, it's like, oh boy, you're not the same.
Yeah.
You know, Verdum was a big one when he lost to Miocic in the UFC. Oh, I can't remember which one, but it was for the heavyweight title. Like some of these guys just come in and you can tell that what they were doing and they can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. They're not doing it anymore.
He's a doper.
Yeah, but you know, like I was watching a video of Robbie's and he was talking about how he takes a multivitamin and forget something else. He goes, but I don't mess with any powders anymore because you just don't know what people, you know, what the scoops have touched at the factory.
Okay, but let me expand upon that because I agree. He is in that sort of conundrum of, okay, I can't supplement this way because it's a risk. How can he eat chicken? How can he eat pork? How can he eat steak? Does he really have to go and make sure that it's non-hormone,
So there's nothing in the food can pop from what I understand and what I've read.
But we're all eating food with all this stuff
I
in
know,
it
but
already.
but there's nothing that triggers enough from food that it can come from food.
Okay.
But here's a big issue, and this is what, honest to God, like, and I've been around the MMA gym life a little bit. I see how it is, and I saw how the fighters would just have the different supplements that they would take, and it'd be in their locker. Honest to God, it is. I mean, if there's a guy at the gym that thinks you're an asshole, all he would have to do is find something that pops for USADA take a scoop, drop it in the guy's supplement, and you're never going to know.
Damn, that's hardcore.
I mean, think about that, though. I mean, it is that.
Yeah, you could sabotage somebody.
Oh, man, I want to
fucking
formally
easily
put myself out for work. For anybody who's looking to get their opponent to fail, I will go to their gym and I will put some shit in their supplements.
I mean, it would be that
money.
easy for these guys to fail.
And that's my thing. Then it's unpoliceable. And if it's unpoliceable, you better do something else.
And that goes back to baseball. Like, would you?
Because can't we pop everybody in baseball now with that standard?
The one thing we talked about though when you were gone was McGuire. Corey and I were talking about how much fun that era of baseball was, and he even talked about like the excitement when McGuire would come up to bat because there was a chance he'd hit a baseball farther than anything
Pretty much
you've
to the
ever
moon.
seen.
Yeah.
To the moon, Alice.
You guys hitting home runs now, but it's not the same. But like, if you think that baseball is clean right now, you're out of your mind.
No, it's not. It can't be.
So then you run into the
And
issue.
certainly not by those standards. Even if the guys are trying to clean themselves up,
Yeah.
basically what you're saying is there's a million ways you could test positive on a USADA or a WUSADA test because of these standards. If the standard is unrealistic, then either change the standard or just put up what they're on when they come up to the plate. Just make it transparent.
Yeah.
And if it's really bad for your health, then the club or the player has got to be responsible.
Let me ask you this: like,
Shoot.
St. Pierre George St. Pierre is an example of a guy that always wanted testing.
Yeah,
blah,
he's
blah,
supposedly
blah.
a pure fighter.
Now there's this testing, and he won't come back.
I don't know.
So
man.
a lot of people are out there saying like, "Oh, was he taking stuff the entire time?" And now he knows that he can't get like. It's one of those things, and he's the big example of it because he was so outspoken about it. Now he won't come back since it's there. But you also don't like thinking about Rob's situation. He's the champion at 170. He's a big guy for 170, the 170-pound weight class. If you're fighting healthy and you're just doing your dieting and you're taking your vitamins and you're putting in your time at the gym, like you're doing it the honest way, and you don't know how many others are. I mean, that's a frustrating situation because at the end of the day, everybody has the image of Mark Hunt getting his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar, and you can't take that out of your mind.
Nope.
Whether Lesnar was doing it or not,
Exactly.
the damage is done, whatever. And that's the issue with it. If you have a guy, say Lawler goes out, loses his next fight, the guy tests positive, the test comes back late like Lesnar's did,
Fight's over.
in the people's mind, he's not the champion anymore. I mean, I don't think the doping thing really, it sucks and everything, but when you lose against someone that's doing it, the loss is out there for the public to see. I don't care what anyone says. Mark McGuire, nobody looks at him any differently. Do you think, Corey? Like,
I do.
well, no. Let me rephrase that.
I do.
Everybody looks at him differently, but it doesn't wipe out and it doesn't make you forget the home runs.
No, he
hit.
still hit 70 balls over a fence in a season, and
he hit
that
them
was impressive.
And you saw balls.
I saw
fly
some
out.
shots that
and,
I've
and
never
that's what I'm
seen
saying.
before.
Like
Right.
that's what I remember more than.
When's the last time you saw a highlight of Mark McGuire? They wiped him clean of history.
Yeah.
They
You
don't show Clemens
you don't
shit
see
anymore. They don't
Bonds?
show Sosa stuff anymore. They don't show Bond stuff anymore.
But
So-
we saw. I mean, and the next generations,
Sosa's
they won't
almost
see it. He's almost wiped himself clean because he looks like a different person.
He's transparent.
But I'm ting.
He's
It's
white.
not really a joke, is it? I mean, he is kind of.
I mean, he looks like Michael
Pasty.
Jackson. But the balls that he hit, like I'll remember that forever. And
Sure.
and to me, I didn't care that he was taking steroids, and I have those memories. And McGuire's the greatest home run hitter that I remember because of the amount and the distance and how he hit them. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's different because I saw it. So kids that the baseball purist and the record books and future generations won't get to see what that was, and they won't understand what that meant to the game. Corey, I mean, you're a huge McGuire fan.
yeah, he was on steroids back in the day. Anyway, steroids got better. I don't see why people fucking drag this out over years and everything. It's all old people that want to have their records. It's the same shit old people get pissed about all the time. They want their old stuff.
Well,
and
they
they
want to make
can't
it seem
have
like their day is like pussies compared to this day. You know what I mean?
No,
Well,
it's
we did
just
it.
they
We did
want
it.
their records.
But here's
they were
and
back
Cor-
in the days when the game
Corey's
was pure.
right, and here's
Give me
what
a
they'll never admit:
Get
the
over
game was never pure.
No.
Ever.
Well, so
ever.
You know what Quaaludes are?
You can go back to the turn of the 19th or the turn of the 20th century. There were things in the game. You know what it was called? Cocaine.
so they
That's from 1900.
What's up, Doc?
in the latest 30 for 30.
1920s. You start to get, not only does the alcoholism come into the game, which was always there,
They're on lewds.
they're on lewds. The beginning of amphetamines and those type of
So-
drugs, which then the United States government all classified as, was it grade 1 narcotic?
Yes.
They were already in the game. The game has never been clean. Ever.
No game's ever been clean.
Strawberry said, like in the early 80s, when he come in
84 or 83.
83. Strawberry says that he goes, we didn't have, he goes, everybody says there was bowls of greens, the greenies.
Yeah.
He goes,
yeah.
there weren't bowls of them. He goes, I had mine in a jar hidden because I didn't want people taking mine.
Smart.
He goes, people would talk about guys having an off day, and they'd say calling it, I forget what the term was, playing flat or playing something. And they said that you could tell when someone wasn't taking the greens. And then people, like, it was this culture, like, oh, he didn't take him, he's not wanting to win. I mean, like, it was
Not
this-
wanting to win.
Yeah, so like
He's
there
not
was this
really part of the
whole-
team.
this
You know,
whole
Mickey
mentality
Mantle
around
never
it.
took anything.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't look at Ruth Mantle or anyone differently because of taking an amphetamine or an upper.
Strawberry said the ball would look like 4 times bigger when you would take those. And he goes, like anything, you'd build it. He goes, so you'd take 3, then you'd take 5.
And then it escalates.
And they said that's where
Because Rose
that's
said
where
it
the
best.
drugs.
Then
They
you
said that was the
sleep
big
through
thing.
and miss a game.
Used to do a little, but the little one do it.
so
the
a little got more and more.
Oh, and they needed a drink to calm down, to come
Yeah.
off of them. They wouldn't sleep.
And that's
and
a
they,
bad
they-
cycle.
They talked about this cycle, how they wouldn't sleep, and they'd lay there in bed, and then obviously. But I didn't know Dwight Gooden slept through the World Series parade.
I didn't.
Yeah, he
either.
missed it.
Did you see that? Have you watched it, Corey?
Yeah, it was
He missed it.
awesome.
Yeah.
And there's I'll tell you another one that people never bring up about sleeping through a parade. Isaac Bruce.
What? I was at that parade. He wasn't there?
He missed it.
Holy shit.
Was he with? Who was he with?
Don't know.
What was he doing?
I can tell you the last time I saw him that night. That's all, and he was with everybody.
I bet.
Yeah,
He was with everybody at the hotel at the celebration
So
thing.
Gooden tells a story that they win the World Series. This is before cell phones and everything. Calls his dad. Next call was to his drug dealer.
Oh,
Goes to his drug dealers. and
God, it
said that-
really was as bad as we thought. Because
Yeah,
even
and he
then,
said-
in '86, I was thinking, these guys are really coked up, aren't they?
and he goes, it was.
Yeah, they were.
Yes, they
Keith
were.
Hernandez was on their team.
I was gonna leave and meet up with everyone, and
The stash.
30 more minutes. And he goes, and the next thing you know, I look at the clock and it's 5, and I'm like, all right, just a little bit more. And he goes, next thing I know, I'm just watching the parade and I start crying. Like he had this it hit him, but like I felt like Hernandez was kind of douchey in that during that part. I haven't finished it, but like Hernandez kind of being, talking about Gooden and that stuff, and he was like, I kind of had my problems, but
Kinda.
I felt like he was kind of looking down and kind of being condescending towards Gooden for what.
Well,
he was going
Dwight and
Yeah,
and
because he's the one
Daryl,
that got him in trouble.
they never got on Seinfeld, so there's that.
All those black guys you used to see on Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Danny Turtle,
There's one.
there's one.
Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby.
Wasn't on there.
No,
and
but
Rebecca De Mornay.
did that team? I didn't realize.
86 Mets.
I didn't realize that like how quickly they crashed.
That
it
team was a train wreck in '86. They
didn't
just kept
crash.
winning.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But like, I didn't realize just how quick it happened with Strawberry leaving for the
LA.
Dodgers.
Wasn't
and-
that quick?
Well,
No, they had a 5-year run.
That's what I'm
T.O.,
saying, though,
where,
that-
where Davey Johnson's record over 5 years was like one of the best 5-year stretches in managerial history.
no, for some reason I felt like Strawberry played the end of his career in LA Like it was just weird.
No,
like,
that was the middle of his career.
That's what I'm saying. I felt I just didn't realize how quickly
He and
that,
Eric Davis went back because they wanted to go back home.
Yeah.
They both had been in high school together.
Ooh, that didn't work out.
And it just went south. It really did.
They were just tailing off.
I'll tell you what, though, Strawberry was very honest about, like, he talked about smacking. I mean, like, he didn't really try to make himself look like a good guy from those days.
He
in the parts I
does
saw.
not
Been to
sugarcoat.
prison.
He does not sugarcoat it. He really doesn't. And you got to respect him for that. For two reasons. For A, being honest. For B, getting himself turned around.
He
'Cause
got clean.
You
Doc Gooden.
Man, I mean, you can tell.
Hey, Tony, watch this, because you talk about tweaking and twitching. Just
God, see, that's hard, Corey, because did I love watching him play.
hey, and looks like he weighs about 140 pounds.
I mean, I loved watching him play so much.
Does he have AIDS? I mean, that's a serious question.
Well, let me tell you, the way those guys went at it, just right around that time, they were in that zone.
I mean, if you
They were
found that low,
definitely in that
Needles.
zone.
it's a good possibility.
It's scary.
I wouldn't think he would have that. I would just think he would be malnourished based on drug use. You don't twitch and stuff like that if you're not
It's hard.
on
It's
something.
hard to. I mean, there are lots of talented guys